Hello, I'm David Riley.
Hello, I'm Natalie Forbes.
Hi, I'm Kevin Dutcher.
Today, we look at politics and elections. The three main political parties in Britain are the Conservative Party, the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats. Neil Kinnock was the leader of the Labour Party from 1983 to 1992. He resigned as leader after the 1992 general election, but he is still a Member of Parliament. We asked him to describe the British political system.
Now, Parliament is divided into two houses. The House of Commons, which is entirely elected. Everybody in the House of Commons is an elected Member of Parliament, and they're elected from 650 constituencies in the United Kingdom. Constituencies vary a little in size, but most of them are around about 60,000 electors. And the political parties put candidates up for election, and the election is decided by first past the post. That is to say, the candidate with the most votes gets elected. The House of Lords is a non-elected chamber of the Parliament, and its roots go back for 600 years.
What does he think of the House of Lords?
I think it's ridiculous in any democracy for people to be able to gain a place in Parliament simply because of the fortunes of birth. So I would like to get rid of the hereditary peers. I don't mean execute them under a guillotine. I do mean deny them the power to sit.
What part does the Queen or King play in this system?
For 300 years, Britain has had a constitutional monarchy. It is the Queen in Parliament who begins each legislative year in Parliament with the Queen's speech from the throne.
My government will maintain a substantial aid programme to reduce poverty in developing countries. Its objectives will include promoting good government, sensible economic policies, and respect for human rights.
The Queen's speech is written for her by the government and lists the general important items of legislation and policy which the government intends to put before the legislature, before the Parliament, in the forthcoming year.
Let's look now at a day in Parliament. In the morning, MPs answer letters and work on committees. The main business of the House of Commons begins in the afternoon. What happens?
The House of Commons begins to sit as a full assembly at 2:30 in the afternoon. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, there's a question time.
Mr. Speaker, at the time that the Prime Minister said that if his policies weren't hurting, they weren't working, did he realize that those policies would cause the longest recession since the 1930s?
We have taken action in order to ensure that we come out of this recession in a way that will ensure sustained recovery. And as the Governor of the Bank of England said only yesterday, the conditions are now in place to underpin the sustained recovery.
Mr. Speaker.
After the question time, the House will move to the consideration of a motion. It might be a piece of legislation, a bill, or it might be simply a motion of the House. And there will be a debate. Some members of Parliament will be involved in the debate, usually around 20 or 25. Some others will sit in to listen to the debate and to take the chance to question ministers on the issue that's under debate.
May I ask him this question? If suitably qualified staff have been difficult to attract into Aldermaston because of the existence of higher salaries in the private sector, will not the introduction of a private contractor have the effect of increasing the costs of this programme?
Well, I was quite sympathetic to what the Honourable Gentleman was saying until he got to the last line. The point that I've made, and I sought to make the Honourable Gentleman, is that I believe that with the best possible production management expertise,
the House will continue to sit until 10 o'clock, but more often than not, the House goes on well past that, because there is always secondary business, secondary legislation, resolutions coming before the House, which mean that the House of Commons can quite normally go through till 1 o'clock in the morning, and on, I don't know, 20 occasions in a year, sometimes go into 4, 5 o'clock, or even sit all night. I've done that many times.
How long has Neil Kinnock been involved in politics?
I've been involved in politics since I was about 15. I've fought as the candidate for my constituency every election since 1970. So that makes one in 1970, two in 1974, one in 1979, then again in 1983, and in 1987, and in 1992. I'm not sure how many that makes altogether. What I have to say is, I think I'm right in saying the majority has gone up slightly every time, which makes me very happy.
Has he made any mistakes?
I've made many mistakes. I don't think that there's a person alive of 50 years of age who hasn't made mistakes. And any politician with a 22, 23-year career in politics who says they hadn't made mistakes, they're either too stupid to recognize them or too arrogant to accept them. So I've made mistakes. There are occasions on which I've spoken too long. There are occasions in which I've associated myself with causes that proved to be the wrong causes. And there are times when I would have liked to have acted much faster than I did, but the series of circumstances prevented that. And so in that 23 years, I don't think I've made more errors than most other people, but I've certainly made them.